This video is sponsored by G2A. Use cashback code Dalaran for 3% off on Warcraft products. Hello guys, this is Dalaran's Movies, and today I will be talking about Necromancers and how powerful they are, discussing the various versions of Necromancers, their history, abilities, and finally talking about their power level. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. Most know the Necromancers as the undead humans serving the Scourge, however there is a lot more depth and variety to them. Necromancy is something that has existed in the Warcraft universe from the beginning of time, and numerous races have practiced it through various types of magic. To put it simply, a necromancer is a practitioner of dark arts, utilizing them in order to raise and control the dead. However, there are various classifications from warlocks to priests and even mages, and all of them have managed to accomplish a similar goal. Our first interaction with necromancers was when the Burning Legion, specifically the nathrezim, reanimated the dead some 10,000 years ago. Then, we had seen the trolls utilizing voodoo to raise zombies and other types of undead trolls, mainly through the guidance of Hakar. Later, there were the Mogu that practiced the spirit capture magic, the ogres, as well as the Orc Warlocks. Orc Warlocks were the first notable necromancers, mainly because of all the sudden surge of power they had gotten, as well as a shift in their culture. Throughout their history, the orcs had revered the ancestors pretty much more than anything, building various rituals around this worship. However, when the Burning Legion and Kil'jaeden had influenced the orcs, and Gul'dan came to power, this completely shifted. He gathered the warlocks and taught them necromancy, creating a specific type of a necromancer known as a necrolite, which was a mix between a warlock and a shadow priest. Through this power, he would create the first ever Dead Knights by infusing dead storming knights with spirits of warlocks. Finally, from this would evolve the most popular interpretation of the Necromancers, the Scourge Spellcasters. The Magi of Dalaran were long aware of this dark magic, but had strictly outruled it, punishing anyone who would even think about delving into it. However, the Archmage Kel'Thuzad was growing more and more curious. Through the knowledge of the School of Necromancy, he created his Order of Necromancers and would essentially be responsible for the fall of Lordaeron, the growth of the Scourge and the Lich King, and ultimately the destruction of Dalaran. Necromancers would later play a massive role in building the Scourge and were the most valuable assets, and would even be used to this day by Sylvanas, Windrunner. So, with this very brief history, how powerful are the Necromancers and what are their abilities? Even though there are various versions of these spellcasters, it all comes down to one thing: utilizing dark magic to raise undead. Necromancy has been used through a wide spectrum of abilities. We've seen mindless zombies created, brainless skeletons, intelligent beings like the Dead Knights, and even constructs from minor ones such as abominations to flesh titans. It is unclear how exactly necromancy works, but the power of the spellcaster affects their ability quite a lot. Raising ghouls, skeletons, and mindless undead generally seems to come quite easy, and almost any necromancer can do it. However, putting different parts together and raising abominations seems to be a lot more difficult. There are teams of necromancers that have worked on building giant constructs such as flesh titans, and there seems to be a lot of detail and work required to create an intelligent undead. The ability of a necromancer is also highly dictated by the material he is working with, so in order to create a powerful minion, he would also need an intelligent brain and possibly multiple, well-preserved body parts. Aside from their most powerful ability, which is raising undead, they can also conjure festering diseases, cast offensive magic in forms of a bolt of energy, and even chill the living with the power of death. Even though they're mainly used for sinister purposes, we have seen the utilization of necromancers by the Forsaken in order to preserve and maintain the current undead. So, aside from creating monstrosities, they can also fix up and preserve the undead. As necromancy, magic fell magic is a highly volatile and dangerous form of magic. Few necromancers are uncorrupted, and through practicing magic, even though they may not be undead at the time, they eventually slip into undeath. Hollow eyes, sunken skin, foul odor, among other things, are just some of the characteristics that they eventually embody. Originally, necromancers were supposed to be a playable class, but Blizzard opted for Death Knights. However, it doesn't mean that they couldn't become a playable class at some point in the future. While a power level of a necromancer can range from minor to very powerful, on average they're extremely dangerous spellcasters. Necromancers are enemies of life itself and are responsible for some of the worst atrocities and evils committed upon not just Azeroth, but across the universe. So, in terms of power, I would say that necromancers, along with warlocks and shadow priests, are some of the most powerful spellcasters in the entire universe. Thank you for watching. Check out 10 storylines you should know for WoW Classic by clicking on the screen, and check out the second channel, Dalaran's Academy, to learn more about real-world history and science. See you next time.